part of me thinks, okay, dumpster fire, gong show, however you want to term it, but it's the business side. Fans ultimately want to see a team that wins, that competes for championships. And the business side is not really about the competing for championships. The business side and their goal, La Femina and Ziff's goal, was to make the experience better for the fans. And to have more of a connection, that transparency that you mentioned, the honesty, to have more of a connection with the fans.
That's apparently out the window. Now apparently the fans really don't matter. That's what their departure tells me. Whatever the fans think or want or need to have a better game day experience is leaving the building with La Femina and Ziff and company.
And Chris Russell pointed this out. He'll join us at 7:20. They didn't even have the courage to send Bruce Allen to answer any questions and say, this is why we're doing it.
Right. They said, we don't discuss personnel matters. Though, when they were hired, they couldn't have trotted them out anymore.
They had press releases.
The dog and pony show to show off the new hires.
Right.
So the Redskins.
So you're saying they're lying?
They'll trot them out when it's advantageous to them. But then when they're fired and or resigned, I'm not even sure which happened. 8 months later, then all of a sudden the Redskins won't discuss personnel matters.
I think a couple of them were fired and then a couple of them resigned.
Right.
Either way, they were forced out the door. All right, let's go to the phones. Touch the people, because I do wonder. It's the business side. Do the fans care about it? What is it indicative of?
Let's go to Mark in Largo. What's up, Mark? You're on with the Junks. Good morning.
Hey, JP and Cakes. How y'all doing?
What's up, man?
What's going on with you
Good
guys?
morning.
Hey, Merry Christmas, Mark.
Merry Christmas to you, too.
Yep.
To you guys, too. Let me ask you something. Do you think this with I was telling the caller screen, I was saying, I think we have to really start thinking if they don't get that deal in D.C., I think Dan will relocate this team. Now, everybody can sit up and say, that's crazy. You know what? I think anything is possible with Dan Snyder. I think anything is possible right now with Dan Snyder.
I kind of agree with you on that, Mark, but here's the thing. He's a lifelong D.C. guy, and I just don't think deep down he would ever move the Redskins out of the D.C. area.
You know what? That's probably the same thing they said in Cleveland 23 years ago, buddy. I'm dead serious.
It's a possibility. I tend to agree with Cakes.
The way he acts is just it's frightening. It's frightening. It's like he doesn't care.
Well, I think what he is,
Thanks,
like
Mark.
I said, I was trying to put myself in Snyder's position, and I think he's a fan. We always hear about it. He's a huge fan, right? And I think he's super frustrated at the negative publicity, and he thought bringing in these guys was immediately going to turn things around for publicity towards him. Well, when you bring in a Reuben Foster, it's not going to help. And when you've had some of the situations surrounding this team, it's not going to help. And those were things that weren't in the control of the new guys.
Right.
That's the crazy thing.
Well, apparently one of the issues that I read about yesterday with La Femina was he went to Bruce Allen and Dan Snyder and basically let them know that the corporate sponsors were unhappy with the Reuben Foster signing.
Sure.
Because look, if you're one of these corporate titans that's pouring a bunch of money into FedEx Field and sponsoring the Redskins, the last thing you want your brand associated with is a domestic abuser. I mean, you don't want to be anywhere near that. If you're Budweiser or Bank of America, I'm not sure all of the sponsors, Papa John's, whoever are sponsors of the team. They don't want that sort of controversy
and beyond
associated with them.
We know from taking calls, the fan base wasn't behind it.
Right. Yet Bruce Allen was behind it because the reports are he's the guy that spearheaded the signing of Reuben Foster. So I'm sure that was a big friction point between Allen and the business side.
I think Snyder, look, I just think of him as his fan who's frustrated that everybody seems to hate him. He thought these guys would turn around the hate towards Daniel Snyder.
Right.
It's not going to happen because it's been 20-plus years of this. It's not going to turn around instantly. You know what turns it around? Winning a championship.
Right.
Letting the football people and the business people do their jobs and staying out of it.
Let me just say this. If the Redskins are going to be mediocre to poor on the field, I'm at least thankful that they are a dumpster fire and gong show off the field because it gives us tons of stuff to talk about. Now, the one seed is,
Wins.
like what you said, winning, and, like, the one seed is being the Patriots. Look at what they've built. Look at the sustained success over the last decade plus. That's the one seed for anybody in sports media. But following that,
and by the way,
if you can't get that, the dysfunction and chaos is also good.
And by the way, they win with the coach who's terrible with the media.
Right, he doesn't
who's
care.
Grumpy, whatever. But
doesn't matter.
Everybody lets that go because he's delivering wins.
Right. He's probably the best NFL head coach of all time.
See, to answer my own question, to me, what it all kind of says, because it is the business side, it's marketing.
Right.
Ultimately, as a fan, do you really care if they sell more jerseys, if the ratings are higher, if the stands are more full? Not really. You care about wins. But what it tells me is that nothing's really changed.
Right.
And what you were hopeful is that from the top down, it has changed.
It hasn't. The power structure remains exactly the same. It's Dan and Bruce wielding all the power, and anybody that gets brought in gets crushed underneath their wheels at some point.